What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Super Otaku Show. As always, I am joined by Taylor Made Otaku. How you doing, Taylor?
What's up? What's up? Got the Wu-Tang shirt on. I love this shirt.
Yeah,
I
so
love this shirt, bro.
super random, like little known fun fact about me is "Bring the Ruckus" is my like secret get hype song. Like if I'm about to like run like a D&D game or like go into work and I'm just like zeroed out, I've got no energy, I will play that and get hype before the session.
Hey, that's what's up.
And also joined by my Roman half, Aaron. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing good. I am a disembodied, floating bearhead. Ooh, be afraid. I get hyped for my workouts by listening to anime OSTs. So let's fucking go.
Oh man! In case you guys didn't know, this is the Super Otaku Show where each week we come together, we talk about anime news, what we've been watching, and a random topic picked between the lot of us. Sadly, we don't have the shooting star sheriff Sharif this week. He is AFK, but he should be back, I think, next week. And I'm gonna make him just give us an entire mini review of Scarlet Nexus because it came out this week and he's been playing it a bunch on stream.
Yeah.
And I refuse to put money towards it because the reviews I've seen are like wild opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm gonna have him do it. But anyway, Taylor, what have you been watching? What have you been reading this week? What have you been into? Anything cool? Anything new?
So I actually I binge watched the rest of Nagatoro,
Yeah.
and I've actually never been I haven't been this sad about something ending in so long.
Wait, isn't it only a 12 episode season for Nagatoro?
It was only 12 episodes,
Oh no.
and they're like, bro, it's cute. It's so cute. I like thoroughly enjoyed it, and now it's over, and I'm sad. I'm hoping there's another season
Same.
because there's a lot of chapters after that that are really good actually. And other than that, I watched like 6 episodes of My Hero Academia, the newest season, and I gotta tell you, man, it's fine. It's
It is fine.
it's doing all right.
It's doing fine.
It has its moments where I'm like, oh man, that's cool, that's kind of dope, but then it's always like ruined because of Bakugo.
Yeah, it's if because I like it's been a while since I read the manga, like that part of it, like. But if I recall, this is kind of a big setup arc where it's the like one of those calms before the storm, before like everything goes fucking off the walls.
Yeah.
But it's a really
I,
long setup. It's like 30 something chapters, I think, of like setting up and prepping and like giving additional exposition, introducing new factions, showing what everybody's doing to like adapt to this new world post All Might and stuff. It's a lot.
I was gonna say I don't even know if we've gotten to that part because it's mostly been up until the last 2 episodes, just the Class A versus Class B
yeah,
fights.
that whole thing.
They really took their time with those. It was like 2 episodes per fight, which felt a little long. Except for Bakugo.
The Bakugo fight that took half an episode, and I was pissed off.
I would actually that was my favorite one because I was like, he would be the one to like finish this off super quickly, and it shows a bit of his character development, even though like it's small, it's there at least.
Like that's the thing that angered me. I want more than anything to see in this show. I want to see Bakugo get his ass kicked. I need to see this kid get humbled because his character did grow. I see it. I admit it. It's blatantly obvious, but he's still an asshole about it, and I hate that. I hate the fact that he's just an asshole and he cannot, for the life of him, just be nice. Not even nice. He could be like the silent tough guy. He could do that. But no, he has to tell everybody they gotta die, and he's better than them, and they ain't shit, and yell and scream and explode, and I hate him. I hate him.
I think that's what's kind of funny about him as a character, because even though he's set up as kind of the main rival, he doesn't get the main rival treatment where they make like a drastic change somewhere and it's like they're completely different. He's just gonna keep on being that person, but what makes him funny yeah, but what makes him funny is that he's like really good at hero work. Like the only aspect he fails miserably in is being a calming presence. But other than that, he's really good at his job. I think the last episode before this last week's showed him and Todoroki immediately after getting their license getting into a scuffle and handling it really efficiently. So that was cool to see, like them actually handling a real crime and doing it so well that like everybody was impressed.
I need everybody to just catch up to the manga so that we can do a full episode, or I can talk about like where I think this is going, because I have a lot of ideas as to why the show is a little rocky right now. And I think one of the biggest reasons is definitely, I forget the mangaka's name, but he always intended this to be a shorter run series, like a sub 20 volume run. I think he planned for like 12 initially, and I think he built a little more than he anticipated. And now it's hitting a point where I don't think characters are going to get finishing out like moments as well as they should have. And I do think like Bakugo is going to have kind of a stilted character arc by the end, and so are some of the other characters. I don't know why my camera keeps freaking out. It keeps doing this like focus thing, and I don't know why.
Yeah, you're blurry to me.
Yeah, I don't know what's up, because like I'm not really moving. I think it's trying to focus on my hand like a moron.
We gotta get better at this streaming thing.
It's like
Taylor never has any problems. I just want to make that's
true.
Clear that Taylor somehow just never has had any technical difficulties besides immediately before the show unplugging his mic. That was the extent of his technical issues on the show.
I just have this expensive webcam. That's not that expensive. It's kind of expensive, but it's not super expensive. I think it's like $150.
Yeah, I bought so I got the side break. Like, we're going to the tech for a moment. I have the Razer Kiyo, which is a decent webcam. It's one of the ones recommended for streaming, and I got it because it has a key light built in. But the autofocus on it is wild, and I think it's because I don't have a great lighting situation in general in my room. And so,
yeah, you also have a lot to focus on. Its autofocus doesn't actually know what to. It's trying to get Om-Nom in the background. It's like, that's a person. That's a person for sure. Look at that face.
Yep. Yeah, and you can see my son back there with his new children. He just adopted those 3.
That might be your biggest issue, is that there's just a lot in general. So you've centered yourself, and then there's a lot of stuff in the background that's pulling the focus away from it.
I'm gonna get a green screen sometime in the next couple months, I swear.
That would be cool. Anyways, moving back to anime, we talked about My Hero for way too long.
Tangents.
What else have you been watching, Taylor?
For what it's worth, I also caught up on Nagatoro, and I'm real sad now because I thought we had one more episode. I'm also mad because...
Oh, no, it's 12.
Well, it makes me sad because Sharif also told me that the last episode of Overdress was also the last one for this season because it was also a 12-episode season. And so I had, like...
Yeah.
2 of the shows that were my favorite from this past season have ended an episode earlier than anticipated, and I'm not okay with it. It's not okay.
This just reminds me of like watching anime like in the mid 2000s and nothing ever got another season.
Yep.
It was just one and just done.
Do you remember, like, I don't know if you had like Comcast like on demand growing up and you would just watch whatever they put on there? That was like one of my experiences when I got to high school. On Demand had this thing called Anime Selects. It was like the free anime they put on there, but they would put like a half season and then just like never finish the season.
That's some Comcast fuckery. That's some Comcast fuckery. I got to go on a tour to a Comcast center in Colorado, and honestly, I should have burned it to the ground when I had the chance. They are a demon company. They're horrible.
Before
and I
this
hate
becomes
them
more
because
incriminating.
we don't condone arson.
we don't condone arson on Super Otaku
But-
Show. Please do not burn down your local Comcast center or the
But-
representatives there within.
But if you heard what Aaron just said and you go out and do it, don't snitch.
Don't tell them where you heard it. Anyway.
We have a strong talk shit get shot policy here at the Super Otaku Show. We will find an anime-fied version of that. I don't know what it is. We will send somebody to leave Hurricane you if you snitch.
You're about to get a Rasengan to the chest.
My
boy.
little brother can do it. I've seen him do the drop spin kick that Rock Lee does to set it up. It's scary. He once almost knocked down our friend because he was like 10 and he did it to my buddy who was like 12 or 13 at the time and he wasn't expecting it. And he almost smacked his head into the wall. And I was like, no, you can't do that.
He's
Bad
like,
little
"Oh,
brother.
oh. Can you stop and do this?
He did. He came up into the stands and I was like, no, you can't do that.
No.
Put
no.
your weight
It's
back
funny
on.
too. It's funny too
Keep
because
doing
your
it.
brother does have fairly bushy eyebrows, so it works
And he's
quite
like
well.
super thin with like the Bruce Lee build and everything. Yeah, my little brother could be Rock Lee.
He needs to train more.
It's funny because you haven't seen him in years. Trust me, the Air Force has made him
I
muscle.
saw him. What, less than a year ago? On he came on camera. We talked for a little bit.
Oh.
I couldn't tell what his build was like, but it is surprising to know that the
You're
Air
lucky
Force.
I remembered to come on this show. I technically run this one. So
I couldn't imagine the Air Force doing anything useful for physicality, but I mean, I'll believe
It
it.
can. It depends on the individual.
You just
I
got to
didn't
take
care.
advantage of the free gym. That's all.
you have
like,
to get
that's what it is.
deployed to Afghanistan, or you have to run around with 50-pound bags all the time.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, or join their version of special forces, which I think is like paratroopers.
I don't know,
remember.
but we've digressed again. We're gonna go back to anime. I'm trying to think. I know I watched. Oh, I've been watching. I think Taylor stole some of my tweets. I've been watching a fuck ton of Fire Force.
Yeah.
So I watched most of the first season. I started watching it when it came out, and then anytime my brother comes to visit, because it's one of his two favorite animes right now are Fire Force and Black Clover. So every time he comes, we watch one of them, and I was like, you know what? I haven't caught up in Fire Force. Season 2 is like over, and I started watching. And first off, the pacing is so much nicer and smoother now, because like they're just continuing all the ridiculous amount of like stuff they set up in season 1, but they're keeping with a very high quality of animation. There were some shots in the first few episodes that I was like, damn, it was like One Punch Man levels of like, that's impressive. So I was enjoying that. There's a specific shot where one character hits another through a building, and in the middle they flip positions, and the other one sends them through, and you're watching them fly through the walls, tumbling, and they're like changing who's like in control and who's got more force behind them and stuff. It's very cool. But Maki is best girl. I love her. I need everyone to know that. And
That's fair. Maki's a good
Fair.
waifu. Yeah.
she can also bench press like a house.
She can. She's cool. She's real cool.
Yeah,
I like her.
Yeah, Maki is just the one that I think is like the coolest so far. I wish the cat girl who has the always get naked
Maki?
power. No, she's not Maki. She's Tom.
Yeah.
No, Maki is
That's
the
Maki.
Jack one.
Oh, it's Tamaki then.
Yeah, they have like similar names, which is annoying. So I wish she would get like a cool moment, which based on the openings, I think she's going to, because her power is cool. With like the fire cat thing, and I'm waiting for it, waiting for her to do some cool shit, because she's a 3rd gen too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the show.
Yeah.
You guys probably can't hear this very well, but my Japanese rice cooker just went off, and if you don't know, the Japanese rice cooker sings a little tune when it's done. It goes,
that's awesome.
and we have to dance. And of course, I'm not on camera, so you couldn't see it. We have to dance to it, or else your rice is cursed. That's not a Japanese thing. That's just a me and my fiance thing.
Oh, okay.
But God, get yourself a Japanese rice cooker. They're the best things in the world. They're awesome. Yeah.
We are all the tangents today. I've been watching something else, and I don't remember what it was. I think it was a lot of Fire Force, though. Oh, because secretly I am a terribly ecchi human being. I started watching that How Not to Summon a Demon Lord anime. I started watching the first season because I gotta get to the second season where I can watch the Double Summon edition. And there are some legit it's like the weirdest thing where it's like a full like shonen isekai, and then we get like 30-second snippets of softcore, and then it's right back to just being a hardcore like isekai for reasons.
Yep.
And it's so
Fantastic.
weird. I love it.
Fantastic.
I'm only like 4 episodes deep, but I've been having a time.
In the first season?
Yeah, in the first season.
Oh, bro, wait till you get to the end of the first season.
I'm excited to see like how things progress because this is
oh, it's funny.
And the thing that's cool
It's
is it has like, because like I was watching High School DxD for like the edgy lulz, but the animation isn't always great. Like outside of the like really big combat moments, they kind of keep like the animation pretty bare minimum. It's like if there's not jiggle physics needed in a shot, they don't put any animation in High School DxD.
What else would they animate?
Exactly. But like Demon Lord has some pretty like solid across the board animation, which I appreciate so far. Especially for a show that is supposed to be just isekai meets ecchi. So that's been fun. So those are the 2 things that I've been into this week. Aaron, I know you said whatever you're excited about when you've been watching has some newsworthiness to it. So what have you been watching?
It does. Unlike most weeks, I actually have a lot to go through this week because I did a lot of stuff, but I'll try to move through them quickly so we can get to the news.
Just continue to sip this delicious iced mocha mint coffee.
So I have been watching, obviously, we're continuing our run of Naruto Shippuden. We've made it all the way up to Sasuke versus Danzo, which is a pretty interesting fight. But it gets to the level afterwards where it's like Susanoo is just so weird of like a power. Like what?
It's a little undefined.
What is this? Yeah, it's like all the other powers, like because or like earlier in the show you get this nice little background about like how chakra can be molded and changed and all these interesting things. So like a lot of the stuff does make sense, but like for some reason the Sharingan has these ridiculous powers that just come about for no reason. Like I'm a big undestroyable skeleton monster that manifests around you. And I was like, sure.
It makes me sad that Amaterasu was so broken that it immediately like nerfed it into just not being a used power. He was like, oh no, fire that never goes out's really strong. Let's not use that anymore. Put that away.
Well, like, on the one hand, it's like at least they gave it a drawback because if you use it more than like twice, your eyes are basically destroyed. You just can't see anything. That's the kind of what they were going for, I think. Because Itachi barely used it.
That's why you have to take somebody else's eyes, because then they last forever.
Yes.
If you use somebody else's, they're good forever. If you get secondhand eyes, you can use them for all eternity.
So weird.
They won't break, and you get
the rules are broken. The rules are broken. Anyways, so we've been watching Naruto Shippuden. We're up to that point, like immediately following that fight where Naruto and Sasuke have their like heart-to-heart combat moment. Other than that, though, Nina, on a whim, put on one of the shows that was originally in our spring lineup that we decided to skip over, Tokyo Revengers. I don't know if either of you have
I've been seeing a lot about it. I haven't watched it yet, but it's got a weird buzz.
Yeah, it's so I watched the first episode all the way through, and then just a little bit of the second episode today with Nina. Pretty good. I like the premise and the setup. It's got an interesting story. So far, I think the main character is kind of interesting. because he's a
I
loser.
feel Taylor's disagreement. It's palpable.
It's it.
Like I
it's not
said.
Go ahead.
All right, so other than that, oh god, what else did I watch? Oh, obviously, Odd Taxi has almost finished its run, which is I'm looking forward to. I think the last episode is this next episode or the episode that follows. I'm not entirely sure because I don't think it has a manga. I think it's an original show. I'm not entirely sure because it felt like it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I've never seen that manga anywhere. But I don't know what it is, but I feel like anthropomorphic animals are the way forward for interesting and heady subject matter in anime. Because
between this and Agretsuko
and Beastars, between Agretsuko, Beastars, and Odd Taxi, I am just like living for this pattern of amazing anthropomorphic animal animes. I don't know where Taylor's going. Where's Taylor going?
Taylor just fades into the background. Slowly
with the
posters.
I want to do a video on Odd Taxi, but I'm kind of worried that a bunch of people are going to beat me to it because Super Eye Patch Wolf put it on his recent list of
Eye Patch Wolf takes
things
years to make a video.
This is true.
No, not him specifically, but he's going to draw a large amount of attention to this, which I don't think was getting a huge amount of attention before because I've not heard enough buzz about the show. And it is utterly fantastic.
Speaking of Eye Patch Wolf, if you guys haven't seen his he does like these Super Eye Patch Wolf, really good video essayists. I think we all know him. But he put in a music video in his most recent videos called Nameless King or Naked King. And it's really dope. It's like a 4-minute music video. It has no views because it's got some really intense themes, but it's beautifully animated. Go watch it. It's very good.
And
these guys have 40K views for this beautiful piece of animated artwork.
And speaking of Super Eye Patch Wolf, this is somewhat news, but also not really because it's not directly anime related. But he just recently raised over $10,000 for LGBT Lifeline. That's dope. 2 days ago, and I was on the stream when I watched him pass 10,000 because 2 people in a row donated $1,000 each. He was at 8,000, and then 2 people came out of nowhere and just donated $1,000 each. It was a really fun time. The entire time he was watching these it was horrible. Is these video essayists who were hyper Christians. Reviewing anime and talking about how much they're they hate Christianity and are actually are evil pieces of art. It was wonderful. It was wonderfully hilarious watching these people fail to analyze anime correctly. Their FMA tangent had to be the funniest. I've never seen so many people miss the point on FMA and just represented as a god-hating anime.
Is this the part where we shamelessly plug our video essay of Full Metal?
Yes. If you want a good video essay about the themes of Full Metal Alchemist, some of which I don't think are explored enough because I've never seen anybody try and dissect the anti-capitalist or anti-consumer messages within Full Metal, please go watch our YouTube video on the subject matter, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and the Banal Evil of Capitalism. It is an hour and 17 minutes long, and I promise you won't regret it. Put it on in the background while you're working, or take some time to sit and watch it. It's a good time. Taylor looks wildly confused. Taylor, go watch my video, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and the Banal Evil of Capitalism, to understand my weird angle on this.
The whole reason we keep Aaron is because he makes good video essays. I don't know if you knew that.
I'm a bomb-ass video essay maker. It just takes me forever to do it. Lastly, and most importantly, to move into the news segment, I started reading a manga for the first time in years. I don't think I've read a manga since I decided to read the manga for Naruto so I could just not have to watch the anime. I was so fed up with having to wait that I was like, I'm just fuck it. It was at the end and I just finished it all the way through. But today I read a manga by the name of Chainsaw Man, a bonkers ass concept and story. I've only read chapter 1, but the reason I felt the need to read it is because Studio Mappa is coming out with Chainsaw Man anime, and they just released a trailer, today or yesterday?
It's within the last 24 hours.
It is beautiful looking, and I am very excited to witness that come to fruition. But this time I will read the manga because I am enjoying what they're setting up so far, and I can't wait to read more. It is a very strange story, but that's the kind of stuff that interests me anyway. So,
Taylor, what are your thoughts here?
I wanna not watch it.
What?
Chainsaw Man. I wanna not watch it because there's a dude with a chainsaw for a head.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
But then I watched the trailer and I was like, this shit look like a movie. Like, what is his budget?
But he becomes
Mappa,
a
what are you
man with a
doing?
chainsaw head from his puppy who has a chainsaw coming out of his head.
Yeah. And if that doesn't get you interested, I don't know what else could. Mappa, what are you doing? You're supposed to be working on Attack on Titan.
Nothing.
You're going to make us wait a year? Is this what you've been doing? Is this why we have to wait a year and a half for the last episode of Attack on
Puppy
Titan?
got a head. There's a chainsaw too.
It doesn't
you
even
hear
look
this
like a
shit?
puppy. It looks like a jelly
Right.
bean. It's a jelly bean puppy.
It's a jelly bean.
Puppy with a
Puppy
with a chainsaw,
for
just coming through the middle of its head.
In all seriousness, I think maybe Super Eye Patch Wolf or Totally Not Marker, somebody's just kind of offhand in one of their videos mentioned Chainsaw Man like a year or so
Super
ago.
Eye Patch Wolf.
Yeah, it was Eye Patch Wolf most likely. And I went and I started reading it last summer, and I demolished it. It's for a Shonen Jump comic. It is surprisingly dark. It's got that like more like a very like raw looking art style. Very like rough pencil sketch like nastiness a lot of the time.
Yeah, the blood especially is like these just like smears of ink. That looks really cool because it gives it like a kinetic energy to it.
Yeah, it feels kind of like vicious a lot of the time, and it's a very interesting thing where it is about a man who has nothing and no self-worth and is slowly trying to find a goal. And his goals are the most like basic and simple things. Like his entire reason for becoming this like dude who kills like demons and devils and is like has a chainsaw ripping through his fucking face is because he like wants to touch boobs.
He just wants to have a normal life. He's like, I'd like a girlfriend.
Yeah, like at first he
I'd
wants
like
food.
to just chill.
Like at first he wants
he wants
food and a
food.
place to like sleep, and then he's like, I've never touched boobs. That would be cool. Let's make that my
would be
entire
nice.
life goal. And that's what the whole story is like him going through this like slow escalation as this like hyper abused, hyper isolated human being trying to figure out what it is to be a person while also now being a literal chainsaw man.
I was sold at the end of the first chapter where like he is told by this woman like, if you will become my pet, I'll feed you. And he's like, what do we have for breakfast? And she's like, toast with jam on it. And he's like, yes.
It sounds strange, but it's very good. And again, for
It's
a
fun.
Shonen Jump series, it is much more serious material than I would expect. It's something that, like, in anime form would not have appeared on Toonami. It would have been on Toonami Adult Swim version.
Oh, and it would have done that thing that oh shit, what was it? Tokyo Ghoul does, where like most of the time the screen is like almost completely blacked out because they did that weird thing where they refused to show blood and they would like black it out. They would just make it really dark.
Tokyo Ghoul, so I'm gonna move on.
So like when I first saw Tokyo Ghoul, apparently they
I
did
tried
this
to stop him,
thing.
Chad. I don't like it as bad.
They did this thing in the past. This doesn't just apply to Tokyo Ghoul. I think it applied to a lot of other really violent animes where they would just like black out most of the screen. Like they wouldn't show you the actual gore. very weird.
For the audio listeners, I have caused Taylor to leave. Taylor walked
He's
out on
taking
me.
his camera.
Taylor's just going home.
Oh, he's
See that beauty right there?
is that Tokyo Ghoul? It's hard to see actually.
It's not from. See, okay. I got.
Teresa.
So here's my quick thing with Tokyo Ghoul.
Disclaimer. Our show's canceled.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us canceled with my weird hot takes. I read the first like 15 to 20 chapters of Tokyo Ghoul, and Kaneki is the worst, most miserable variant of the crybaby protagonist that I couldn't stand it anymore, and I quit. And there is no excuse for 2 volumes of your manga to be that miserable to slog through. I don't care how fucking good you get afterwards. It's like when people talk about a video game, they're like, you just gotta get through the first 6 hours of the tutorial. No. I gave you money, entertain me. And that's how I felt with Tokyo Ghoul, because several years ago, everybody was obsessed with it, and I was really excited because I really needed a new series. I was out of all the good stuff. All my series were ending, and I read the first 20 chapters, and I was so disappointed.
Funny aside, on that same line of thought of like being drawn in immediately to a piece of media, remember when you tried to play Fallout, Scott, on stream, the first one?
Yeah, that was a rough day.
Okay, so a content creator named Up Is Not Jump created a video where he's gonna go through every Fallout game, and the first one he did is about the original Fallout, obviously.
It's a bold man.
And I couldn't help but reminisce about that exact moment, because very much like you, he was just like, this is not a game that teaches you how to play it well. It just throws you in the middle of the most horrible situation, and you just die a bunch of times until you get tired of it.
Yep.
And then he's like, but now, after having finished the entire game, that's when I realized it was good. Only then, like after the credits rolled, was I like, actually, this was a pretty great game.
I'll tell you what.
I just had to figure it out first.
I will let you guys choose. We can do this off stream, or I will do a Twitter poll. You got chat and the internet can decide. I will do a rewatch, and eventually just a full video review of one of the shows that I hate, that everybody loves. I will do either Tokyo Ghoul or Attack on Titan. I will watch them all.
Okay, neither. All right, hold up, because we have
Did you say Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so
Have we
Sharif
not
and
discussed that I don't like Attack on Titan either?
You don't like
Not with
Attack on Titan?
Taylor.
No.
So Sharif and I planned on having a podcast episode where specifically we have to talk Scott
Mikasa's
into
fantastic.
watching. We have to talk
listen to
Scott
this
into
one.
watching Attack on Titan.
She's okay. I like her.
That's the goal. Is we have to convince
like
Scott
Levi
to
too.
watch Attack on Titan. I actually think I know
And I
what
like Armin.
Scott's. Really?
Yeah, I like Armin. He amuses me.
I'm in charge of the gas tanks. Tink tink. Sorry.
And Potato Girl, she's dope.
I actually think I know what Scott's problem with Attack on Titan is. I think. It would be a wild guess, but I think I know what it is. I think for him it's a pacing issue specifically.
My issue with Attack on Titan is twofold. One, it sets things up that don't matter. It's constant misdirects, and then there feels like there's no motivation for any of the bad guys, which is fine. Spoilers. Okay, I'm going to do some spoilers here. I've apologized if any of you haven't finished the first season of Attack on Titan. Skip like 10 minutes. Most of the season, right, Titans are mindless, and that makes it okay for them to not have purpose. We buy it, right? They are. That's what makes them frightening, is that they don't have a goal. They don't need to eat us, but they do.
Yep.
And then by the time you get to like the end and you find out that like 3 of our like fellow ally people are also Titans, and they're doing these terrible things, but without motivation. Like, we don't know why. Like, why are you murdering everybody? And like, I read the first 54 chapters, and there is no hint or glimpse at why they are choosing to do this when clearly all three of them don't want to.
Okay, so
it's
in one
poor
sense,
character motivation.
in one sense, I'm actually partly right here, in that, in a sense, that is a pacing issue, because strangely enough, I felt the same way, where I was like,
It's a character development issue, I think, more. Like,
yeah, they throw in. There's so many mysteries. You're like, what am I supposed to focus on here? The wall is made of titans. What? And there's a lot. There's a lot going on, and none of it feels like it's answered for a long, long time. The thing is, they are all answered, and in a way that actually makes sense.
And like, I believe
it's not the kind of thing. It's not the kind of thing where it's like, oh, this just feels like they made this up and then have to justify it later on.
It feels like something where the creator knows what's happening, which is why I don't think it's an inherently bad show. But I don't. It's
not a J.J. Abrams thing where he goes mystery box, but he doesn't know what's inside the box.
I don't like the way that information is disseminated to the audience. It felt bad.
I can understand that. Oh my gosh, we are going. Okay, we
gotta
like
do 40 minutes in, and we haven't even hit the news yet.
We'll do a whole Attack on Titan thing. We did get to the news with my first piece of news about Chainsaw Man. But Scott, bring us into some other news stories.
I'm gonna try
so we can
fly through the news real quick, and we will have an entire episode about my terrible anime hot takes. Taylor's so disappointed. All right, so first things first.
Taylor's been nothing but disappointed.
Not necessarily the coolest thing, but also kind of a mild disappointment. Square Enix has announced a new project called Deep Insanity. It's a cross-media project. It's going to have a video game that is going to be for iOS and Android, so it's going to be a money-grabbing monster, but it's also going to have an anime and a manga. So, you know, maybe those will be cool, but the game will make me sad. Continuing on a video game trend, Demon Slayer... the Hinokami Chronicles officially has a release date. It's the first full Demon Slayer video game. It comes out October 15th here in the West. And don't let the trailer fool you guys. It is a CyberConnect style arena fighter. And I am assuming, based on the way it looks, though the trailer does not do it justice, is that it's actually going to play a lot like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games, which I loved. I don't know if you guys ever played them, but...
That's what I figured.
They were some of my favorite, like, arena brawlers. They're just fun. They're not balanced at all. But they were terribly enjoyable to play through.
Well, neither were the characters.
No, it was great, though. But that's what I think the whole game is going to play like. We've only seen, like, a story trailer thing where they're showing you story mode moments that look pretty... They did not look good as an adventure game, which I was under the impression that it was going to be like an RPG. I was very confused, and then I found that it was an arena brawler by CyberConnect.
Oh, before we move too far, did you finish the first season of Demon Slayer?
No, not yet. I started watching Fire Force instead because it's better.
Oh, okay.
Fire Force is dope. It's real pretty. All the time. Makes me giggle too. It's also made by the team that made Soul Eater. It's the same guy who made Soul Eater. I love Soul Eater.
Oh, nice.
Taylor looks so sad now. What have I done?
You've broken, Taylor.
Next up, kind of, not really anime news, kind of more video game news, but it's just weird and tangentially related enough that I had to put it in. Dynasty Warriors is a live-action movie, and it's coming to Netflix on July 1st, and there's a part of me that wants to watch it and live react to it on stream, because I adore Dynasty Warriors, despite how terrible it is. It's a terrible, delicious thing, and I want it. It's like when you like bad pizza, like when you like pizza at like Chuck E. Cheese or something. It's like that. Like, that's Dynasty Warriors, and now they made a movie of it, and I have to watch it. And I just want other people to suffer with me. So, that's why I'm mentioning it here. We already mentioned that Scarlet Nexus is coming out, or it came out this past week. Legend of Mana and potentially Final Fantasy IX, according to some rumors, are both getting anime adaptations, which is weird. Square seems like they're really going hard on this whole anime thing right now, which is surprising.
They're really going hard on the adverme. We gotta have a name for this, where it's like advertisement anime.
So here's the thing. Here's what's funny that I'm surprised they haven't done this. I don't know if Taylor knows this, but they've like owned anime stuff for years. They make Full Metal Alchemist. Like they're the producers of that, and they produce a lot of stuff. They made the two FMA games, the PlayStation 2 RPGs, and stuff. But they do surprisingly little with anime, especially when it comes to their primary franchises. Like there's one Final Fantasy anime. It's Final Fantasy Unlimited. Like there's a couple like OVA things, but Final Fantasy Unlimited is like its own weird ass fucking anime series that just happens to use some Final Fantasy like keywords. It's nothing to do with any of the main games or anything. It's very weird.
Fair.
And final piece of news. This one is the thing that I am cautiously the most excited for because it's probably going to be a pain in the ass to get a hold of anyway because manga is weirdly hard to get a hold of in the US. But for the first time ever, the entire run of Hajime no Ippo is going to be available digitally from Kodansha as of July 1st, which is really, really cool because Ippo has been a notoriously hard series to find. I mean, growing up, I have never seen a physical copy of Ippo in any store I've ever gone to. And it is a series that has been running since 1989. It has 131 volumes. And I've never seen one in person in a store. I've only ever found it at cons. So, like, I'm hopefully it's going to come to whatever Kodansha uses for their digital platform stateside as well, so you guys can get it. Again, Ippo is one of my favorite series of all times. It has, like, 3 manga or anime series. It had some video games from the early 2000s and stuff. It's got some really great stuff. I definitely check out the animes. They're on Crunchyroll and YouTube. But I didn't
Taylor,
say that
are you okay? Are you okay over there?
Do you need to talk, buddy?
He's not doing it.
He's giving us the okay sign, but I'm nervous.
Very nervous. He's going to find you and he's going to make you watch all 4 seasons of Attack on Titan.
And with
I
that,
will say though, season 2 is probably where they really stepped up their game. I think because of that hiatus they took, like between seasons 1 and season 2, where they spent a lot of time doing a lot more animation. There's a lot more information being disseminated in season 2. A lot more fluent action, I guess. It's not like very... Because like season 1 was very much like they spent a lot of time on their big action scenes, but then like the talking usually felt very like stiff and weird, which was
again, remember,
stylistic.
That's the thing I try and always point out to people. Like, I read to the manga current back in the day. Like, I read through like chapter 54, which covers, I think, basically seasons 1 and 2 of the anime. So like I went through a lot of it. Like I didn't like make a snap judgment. I watched the whole first like season, and then I wanted some more because like I'm a little like I want to see where this goes, and I read a whole lot more, and I was like, I'm not liking where this is.
Aaron, when are you gonna get to the basement?
Yes, go to the basement. Anyway, we'll talk about Attack on Titan another day.
Did you kill the colossal titan?
So at 43 minutes, we're gonna get to our main topic here today. Which one of you brought this up? One of you started this.
I did. It was me.
Aaron, explain yourself and what are we talking about today?
Of course. Today we are talking about the age-old fandom art of shipping. Now, if you don't know what shipping is where you essentially in a kind of fan community, you have 2 characters that you invest in this idea that they should be romantically together. It can be 2 characters, it could be 3 characters, it doesn't really matter. The idea is that you are forming the idea that these people should be in a relationship. That's where the term shipping comes from.
If you have a significant other that is big into anime, the quickest way to start a fight is to find their favorite OTP and disagree. That's all you need to do.
I was actually going to talk about this a little bit because if there's one thing that shipping is notorious for amongst fan communities is the really hostile and toxic atmosphere they cultivate because people get very, very, and I mean very, invested in the fictionalized ships they come up with.
I believe the exact term for when they get upset with people is big mad.
Sure.
They get the big mad.
Yeah, always forgive him for that joke.
So I guess to start off with we could talk about our individual relationships with like how we came to understand shipping, or maybe you came up with the concept before you knew what shipping was.
Mine's super
Which
easy.
is probably a good assumption because like you're watching TV shows and fictionalized characters, and from the very beginning, a lot of times you immediately associate two people with having like a romantic interest in each other and think like, oh, these two would be perfect for each other.
All right.
It's very much a fan-based thing.
So, despite the fact that I've always been like a like cheesy like nerd boy who loves like like romance stuff in everything they read and watch and everything, I did not know what shipping was until my first girlfriend. She, to this day, like we're still friends. Like she is such a nerd. That like she makes Taylor's setup. If you guys can see Taylor's setup, he's a very like dope spread of waifus and other stuff like throughout the whole wall. That looks like rookie shit. Like her room, like literally through the ceiling, plastered with anime stuff, and that's like when I met her. And she was a huge fan of like ships and stuff.
I feel like that's a challenge. Not to
don't
like,
try.
Like
It was literally on the ceiling. She ran out of space and had to put things on the ceiling. I've seen it. It was scary.
That's so much money.
Yes.
That's so much money.
That's when you know like this person's family has money. It kind of reminds me of our college buddy who was really into Star Wars.
Anime addiction. Just a terrible.
That too. Sometimes people don't have money, and regardless, they will go out of their way to buy all the fan things. It's a very real phenomenon.
I'm guilty.
But
I don't blame people.
I am guilty.
She was like super obsessed with like all the ships. We often disagreed on them. She was a big fan of all the yaoi ships, all the Naruto, Sasuke, and stuff like that.
Okay. We've already hit our first roadblock in possible like understanding of what the heck we're talking about. Scott, what is yaoi? What is it?
So yaoi and yuri are like two halves of the same coin. It is boy on boy is yaoi and girl is yuri. It's not necessarily only for like ships and dojin, but it's very common in both of these. It's kind of where the beautiful boys doing beautiful things beautiful. Or beautifully, like, whole genre came from, like, Free and Skatey Affinity. Like, those actual, like, physical series kind of came out of that style of dojin. I know that's where, like, Clamp and stuff, I believe, come from, is that kind of dojin from back in the day. But it happens a lot all the time. I feel like I always encounter it, because I'm a big shonen guy. In shonen circles, when you meet people who are, like, really diehard about shonen, and if they are people who are fans of, like, yaoi, they ship all of the main characters together all of the time. It's a lot of, like...
It doesn't have to even make sense, honestly. Yaoi is very much about the kind of fan fantasy of just being able to control your character's desires and actions and putting them into relationships for your own enjoyment. Like, I don't know, it feels very much like what our prospect title is going to be, the Now Kiss. Very much that.
Yeah, like if I could have had an image of like if I could have gotten like Rick to do an art piece, I think the Now Kiss like title would have been great. Just I would have made Rick draw two characters.
Now Kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, it very much feels like that. And yaoi is a pretty big subculture of like otakus. So much so that South Park did a whole episode where yaoi was a centerpiece of the episode, which was incredible.
Yo, that whole episode was amazing.
It was a really good episode. Like South Park for me has kind of fallen into a weird place in my heart, but like the yaoi episode in particular was so well done. I don't know what it was. Part of it was the track they would play. Say something, I'm giving a bun. For the sad parts, and they actually worked. I was like, God damn it, why do I feel
fun fact,
what have you done?
One of the collectibles in the Fractured But Whole game is collecting the yaoi art pieces throughout the city.
It is.
I have to play those games.
They are
I
unexpectedly phenomenal video games.
That's what I've heard. They seem like really fun games.
They're made by Obsidian, which is one of my favorite video game companies. So,
anyway, so that's yaoi. Scott, continue on your journey of shipping.
So basically, like that's kind of where I like learned about it, and that's when I got more into, like through her, I got more into like shoujo and slice of life stuff. I got really into D and Angel, and then that led to me getting into all the other random stuff like Fruits Basket and, eventually like GTO and other things that were still like slice of life, but in like different weird ways. And as I got older, I encountered more and more people who have different ships, and you start meeting friends who have like their pairs, and then you realize that you have developed your own. You're like, oh no, what hole have I fallen in? I can't get up. I need life alert, but for like weebs. I don't know what that would be. OTP assist. I don't know. We're gonna invent it. I'm gonna make that service.
I've gone down the shipping anime rabbit
when
hole.
You realize that you are the one creating the OTP Rule 34 art, we will be there to hold you and help you through the dark times. That's what we're here for.
This is a call to action. If you are an artist who does Rule 34 art, like a lot of anime Rule 34 art, like let us know. We want to talk to you. I feel like that's an interesting thing that's not explored a lot, because
definitely not a giant ploy just to secretly convince you to make all of our OTP commissions. It's definitely a help group.
You can give us all giant packages if that helps. Just big old packages.
Fun fact: one of the most weird, oddly, I get that and I will accept it compliments I ever got was one of Sage's friends saw me when I came into school to grab him one day to pick him up, and just very loudly said, not realizing I am the biggest of fucking anime nerds, tried to whisper but yelled to him, dude, your brother's bara as fuck. And I was like, it's a weird compliment, but I'm gonna run with that one. I'm gonna take it. I will accept it. I'm gonna go home now. If you don't know what bara is, just Google it. It's safe.
Hey Google.
No.
What does bara mean?
Different meanings. Starting with the most common one,
Oh, no.
borrow can be used as a verb to mean take and use, something that belongs to someone else.
I didn't say borrow. I said.
Google has failed us.
All right. Keep going.
Google's not equipped for
Goddamn.
heavy weeb subject matter. Anyway,
She can do a lot with weeb stuff. If you ask her who's the best girl in any series, she'll tell you.
oh my god,
That's amazing.
It is.
the plugins.
What? Watch this. Watch this. Hey Google, who's the best girl in Attack on Titan?
Browse.
Bitch.
Here's a summary.
Last time you said.
I was really hoping she was gonna say Sasha.
I wanted her
I
to
was
say
so-
Levi.
Oh my god.
Last time I asked you that
Speaking-
question,
okay.
you said Mikasa. Now it's Sasha. Make him your
I was gonna say Levi would be really appropriate, especially for this episode, because a weird shipping that a lot of people do is Aaron and Levi. It's a very daddy dom relationship type thing. I feel
I don't
like
understand. I don't understand.
he's 20 years his superior. Much older. It's just that he's short. Which, by the way, finally some good short people representation in anime.
Vegeta!
Before all we had was Edward.
Hiei!
That was who?
Vegeta and Hiei. Krillin.
Oh,
Straight
I guess,
Krillin for years.
yeah.
The
But
old
isn't that
gets
joke
the
with
hottest
Krillin that
girls
he's-
in the series.
Wait, Krillin? Are we really saying
Yes,
Krillin? Isn't he the
Krillin.
one that dies all the time?
And then he gets the bag Android 18.
Krillin is the realest human in the whole show. The strongest human in the show. Without him, the plot doesn't move. Put some respect on Krillin's name.
Sensu Bean.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We've gotten into a heated discussion
really-
about short characters in anime.
I,
I really respect.
What's the respect Krillin name?
I just like that, like, canonically, the reason that Levi is so good with his 3D gear is because he's short and small.
Is it really?
Yes, like, the reason he adapted to it so well and is so good at using it is
Yoda.
because he's small.
Because he's Yoda.
He's-
He's giant murder Yoda. Got it.
And again, he literally has the best animated fight scenes throughout the entire show. They're just like, oh, is this the Levi fight? All right. The budget's gonna go up by a couple $100,000. Get the entire team on this. All right, Taylor, tell us about your shipping journey. How did you come to discover shipping? Was it naturally, organically, or did you kind of fall into it somehow down the fandom rabbit hole?
Okay. I am a boomer. So, when I first started watching anime, it was one of those things. The only anime you were allowed to publicly like was Dragon Ball Z. Everything else, you were weird for even considering watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I didn't care. I watched damn near everything. And one of the shows that I used to watch was a show called Tenchi Muyo, which was my very first kind of harem anime. Right?
Mm.
That show was a
And-
fantastically bad influence on all of us young boys.
It is beautiful. I love it so much. I love it so much. I gotta go back and watch that, see if it's crap. But
That's why I love terribly abusive space pirates.
yo, that was something else. But yeah, that was the biggest thing. Because I wanted Tenchi to end up with Ryoko. And then
she's
all
dope.
these other girls, I was like, no, Ryoko. Like, she's a princess. She's a smaller princess. Those two are cops. She's a genius. And I'm just like, Ryoko. No, she the best. She's so cool. She's awesome.
She got
Ryoko.
introduced first. Do it according to the rules. She's the one now.
That is
You're
true,
locked in.
and that
Sorry.
is- that's almost true. That is almost true. But she's the first one that we saw, so she should be, But yeah, like that was my first introduction to like shipping. That was my first time actually like shipping, and from then on out, I just kept doing it with everything that I watched. Literally everything. The only thing I haven't shipped anybody in is Attack on Titan. Because I
It's
hate
too
Eren.
dreary. It's too dark. You're like, I don't want to ship anybody with these characters.
It's not that it's too dark. I just can't find two fools to ship.
Well, yeah, no, Aaron's a terrible human being and nobody should ship anybody with him. He'd be a horribly abusive man-child.
Like
That makes
like,
me sad
I
because he
want,
doesn't get
want
better.
this one to be happy, but I hate Eren and I don't want to ship him. But Armin ain't it. He ain't it.
Dude, they literally did an espionage mission where the entire mission hinged on the fact that Armin looked enough like a girl to pull the mission off. So it's hard to ship people with him.
Armin is fine. Armin is a G. I love Armin.
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's an interesting character. He's just it's not an easy ship.
He, like it's not an easy show to ship anybody in, because if you ship them, they're gonna die. It's spreading all over the face. What was that dude that really liked her?
Everyone. I was gonna say every character that meets her. Technically,
Everybody
Jean
loved him?
is
that's
still
his
alive.
name.
He's still alive.
He should have died.
I
long
he should
time
have,
ago.
but he's made it.
Him and Connie.
Actually,
Why is
I think
Connie still alive?
I actually think Jean is one of my favorite characters, but that's a different subject.
Why?
Because he has the most interesting character growth out of any of the characters in the show.
Oh man,
Some characters don't even get growth, but Jean gets an interesting development, unlike everybody.
We're falling into Attack on Titan again.
Yes,
I
we are.
refuse to allow this to happen. Aaron, how did you discover the OTP?
You don't get the right to refuse.
Objection!
You dismiss right of refusal. This is gonna become like one of those old British courthouses. Sir, you have no right to object.
I like that only me and chat and the future podcast audience hear me hitting my soundboard buttons. It's glorious.
God damn it.
Anyways,
I'll hear it in post.
I will agree
Yeah.
with Taylor that like watching a harem anime is a really good way to get into shipping because it's like it presents you the option. I mean, there's no way around it. Like, there's all these characters kind of going after one character, and like part of the fun of the show is you deciding which one you want to be the winner. Kinda like that's not how relationships work, but like that's kind of what it presents itself as. Like, here are the options. What would you, as a person putting themselves in the main character's shoes, pick? Like,
Yeah,
who would
that's
you
what
pick?
That's what makes harems so fun. Like I know a lot of people like they're just like harems are trash. Like, why would you like a harem? It's like it's just it's fun. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah, like
you find your ship, you sail on that ship until the end, and your ship sinks into the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic.
somewhere Sharif is tearing up over an issue of Nisekoi.
Bro, big man, don't even get me started on these Sequoia. My ships didn't work either. It's bull.
I was so happy. It went exactly
She
how I
is
liked it.
so trash.
I love her so
hate
much.
her so much.
We won't spoil it for
I
you
have
guys, but
only
I love
liked
her
her
so much.
on two. There has only been 2 occasions where I liked Shitogi. Literally 2. And one of them I didn't want to admit it, and the other one I just couldn't help but admit it. Like.
You have just
But she
witnessed how shipping works on the internet. You have just witnessed. And this was a healthy back and forth. This was one of the positive ones where we're all friends and like we can just disagree with things. But this is not
I'm
how the
already
internet typically works. Because people, like I said, ride or die with their ships, and I'm very serious about the die part. There's a dark corner of this world that is kind of a consuming corner where fandoms become even more strong now than they used to be. Like, I don't know, like, to me, fandoms kind of have evolved to a point where they are the purest form of what their origin was. Like, if you were considered a fan, like, what, back in, like, the 70s? When were the Beatles, like, at their biggest?
The 60s and the 70s, yeah.
Because that's where the concept of fandom came from, because it's a shortened version of fanatic. It was these people who were hyper obsessive over these weird looking British men and like to the point of devoting their entire soul to these people. So I feel like we've kind of come back to that, but in an even more fragmented sense, where like people get hyper obsessed to their own little niche things and are combating each other on a regular basis. It's like war. It's like a country that's been ravaged by war, and we're all just little warring factions defending our ships to the death.
Oh, man.
He's never gonna want her meat. You know he's always going to pick a blue-haired sweet
Megumi?
girl. Yeah.
No, he ends up with the
I don't
blonde
like
one.
Megumin that much.
He does not end up with the meat girl.
I
No,
know.
he ends
and
up with the main
depresses
girl.
She's horny for him, but there is no
She
reciprocating
is.
horniness.
That's a shame. Mito's great. I love her.
Anyway. This is shipping. So my own experience, I don't really know where like I first thought it. I think probably because I experienced anime pretty late. Like obviously when I was a kid, I watched Sailor Moon and Speed Racer. Sailor Moon can probably be a fun one to ship people, but like I was too young to really do that. So when I came back around to anime in college and I started out with Naruto, that's I think where I started to develop an idea of like, oh, which characters would I like to see together? And I think for me it was more of a like, who would be fun pair ups?
Yep.
Because it would be interesting to see these two together. Like there were obvious ones that like they clearly set up pretty early in advance, like Shikimaru and Fangirl.
Kamari.
I can never remember her name for some reason. It's a shame too, because like Shikimaru is like a huge misogynist at the beginning of the show.
Rock Lee's
Sorry,
kid.
I laughed. I just heard Speed Racer and it brought back memories.
Rock Lee's
And
kid.
I started thinking about the theme song. I'm sorry.
Go Speed Racer.
Go Speed Racer, go.
Go Speed
It's so
Racer,
lit.
go.
Rock Lee and Sasuke's kid, so we can make the most powerful ninja of all time.
Jesus
Sharingan with
Christ.
super jutsu.
What?
That's what I want. That's my new ship. Full
Rock Lee's-
Endeavor style.
Oh, okay. So does anybody know? Does Rock Lee end up with anybody? Because I can never remember.
I don't know if it's Mike Guy's kid or if it's Rock Lee's kid. There's a kid who also has a bowl cut that looks just like both of them. I don't know.
Because like, yeah, poor
I have
Rock
the-
Lee never gets to have any relationships.
There's just another
Let's
kid
see.
that looks like both of them. I assume it's one of their kids.
Rock.
It's like Rock Lee is so like he's a character with passion and resolve. You know, the kind of things that like after you've matured,
That
you
grown-up
actually learn
Sakura
to-
should have been into, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, there's a difference. Like
Okay,
as you get
he
older.
does have a son
Okay.
named
But-
Metal Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Fucking Rock.
AKA Lee had a child named Metal Lee who he trained with. He also
Who's the mom?
later to be Jonin. It doesn't say.
Just some
Oh
random
my god,
lady.
did he just like have a child out of wedlock? He's raising Metal as a single father? That's adorable.
He's a bullet. Anyway.
It literally does not say who the mom is.
Oh, okay, that's got to be like a Kakashi's Mask type thing where like the entire series you're trying to figure out who fucked Lee.
The question
I
was
wanna-
is who didn't and whose
Jokes
kid
on
is
you,
it
it was
actually?
Sakura because Sasuke had been gone for so long.
I want like a OVA where it's like that one episode where they're all trying to figure out what's under Kakashi's mask, but it's like all the adult characters getting together to try and figure out who had a child with Lee, because none of them like know. It's like a village mystery.
Oh man. Anyway, Aaron, bring us a little back on track. What's your next question? What's your next stop on this tour of OTPs? As we're already at an hour and 8 minutes.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right.
It's a long one this
it's a
week, guys.
podcast.
I got a good one. I got a
Never
good
stopping.
one. What's your most controversial ship?
Oh man.
What's something you think would would make people go, "I'm sorry, what? Why?"
I tend to be really basic. Like
You have one that you
notoriously
think
so.
might twist some gears.
Oh man, this is rough.
Taylor, you gotta have one. Give me one that's gonna
Okay.
go. I'm sorry, what?
The closest to one that I have. I am not normally a big fan of like the atypical like forced shonen yaoi ships, but there's only one that I generally kind of accept and think like that could very much be a thing, and that is Gon and Killua and Hunter x Hunter, because they are both young, they are both super codependent, and
Adorable.
I could see them as they get older being a legitimate thing.
Cause like they never like really, as far as I've seen so far, there's no like really expression outside of their deep devotion to each other.
No, not really. But it like, and again, like they're both like 12.
Yeah, it's hard to like ship them then. It's more like, well, in the future.
But yeah, and that's the thing is I'm like that's one that I was like like most like protagonist ships I'm like that's stupid, you're dumb, you are misunderstanding the entire like cornerstone, but they're young and they are both super headstrong and they both need each other on an incredibly deep emotional level. Like they are literally analogs of one another. Like if you watch Totally Not Mark's reviews on it, he does some really good like exposition on who they are as people and how they kind of reflect one another and how they have similar wants in life but different approaches because of Kahlua is like hyper good at everything but afraid to take the leap, and Gon is pretty good at everything and fucking dumb reckless. Like, puts Goku and Naruto and Luffy to shame, dumb reckless. Gets his ass laid out. Dumb reckless. But
that was definitely controversial because it made Taylor walk away from the screen. We gotta walk away. So that's definitely one for the book.
Yeah, I got that one, and then I think Luffy and Nami, because I think they're just like, she's gonna babysit him forever. Nobody's gonna let Luffy be alone. Somebody has to watch him. You can't leave him unattended. and like, Nami feels like the type of person that would stick with him, and like, they've been together for a long time. I feel like there's like something a little more there. That's just my thoughts.
Is that controversial?
I don't know. I don't talk to people about these things.
I can see that one.
Because, I mean, who else is going to babysit him for all eternity? Like, somebody has to.
Boa?
No.
Hancock?
No. Not okay.
She seems to be...
Luffy doesn't even notice when she's in the room.
I don't know. I never met Boa Hancock in the show. It is what it is.
So Boa's a weird character. Like, because the whole thing with her is that, like, her power is literally anybody that finds her attractive, she can turn to stone.
So Medusa.
And so, like, Luffy looks at her and is like, hello, where's the door? And she's, like, naked. And she's like, stone, and he's like, okay. and from that point on, it's like eternal love from Boa's side, because he's the only guy in the world that can resist her, apparently. It's a very funny thing.
I suppose I get what Tatsumi and Esdeath be a controversial one. Is that bad?
Yeah. You know, the scary ice murder lady, just a little bit. I don't think it's maybe super controversial. I think it's not a healthy relationship.
You are not scary. You are not scary.
You're very scary. You murder.
You're a very, very dominant woman, and some men
I have never finished
cowards.
a Kame ga Kill because I'm afraid of the ending. I'm like so scared. I have like 3 episodes left, and I refuse to watch it because I'm terrified of what'll happen in those 3 episodes.
You should. It's 3 episodes. Just finish it.
And it'll make me sad.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the rest of the episodes did.
People survive.
Oh well, that's somebody. Not everyone doesn't die. That's all I need to hear. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I guess the other one. I can see this one being a little controversial because people absolutely hate her, but I don't. I can see Ichigo from Bleach and Orihime. I like that one.
This one is actually a good one because, like, this one is controversial in the sense that, like, the challenge of Bleach is that you have 2 main options for Ichigo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
like, from the very beginning.
It's kind of meh.
But, like, yeah, there's a faction that will go to bat for either relationship, and they'll go hard. So, like, that one is, I guess, controversial in the sense that, like, if you pick a side, you've automatically made many enemies.
I'm a ship Chad and Nell.
All right, I got one. I don't know if this one's controversial, honestly.
Anybody who listens to the podcast, please just go watch Taylor's reaction.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Because I remember their names.
Is that it?
Yeah.
You just remembered their names and you're like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, Chad's a big handsome
there.
man. She's a big booby lady. It'll work.
this whole
She's
work.
also a child most of the time.
Yeah, but she's not
Yeah, that's
actually a
probably
child. Like, Well, no, because she's not a child.
Let's get into the weird shit.
I
We
don't
need to
think.
talk about that one day. We need to talk about how weird it is to be a child at one point, but you're not really a kid. You're some giant, big, booby, powerful lady.
Yeah,
and then you
that's-
just turn
okay.
back into a kid.
It probably has its own name because that is a kind of genre, or not a genre, a trope of certain characters that drives me crazy. And it's like, this is giving me some, like, it's on the fence, like right on teetering on the edge of like you were about to go into like super mega
You know what?
creepy zone.
I have a thing. If you guys are really into that one, then
None of that! Shame on you!
okay, back to the show.
All right.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Taylor.
gonna-
I don't have a way for you to hear the reactions. I have them. They're in a soundboard. The chat hears them. You don't. One day.
This is the worst. You need to figure out how to make this work for everybody.
I know, because I'm just like, I'm waiting for the punchline.
We just get like dead air. Just
Yep,
like I
it's
guess
great.
we'll run with that.
It's a joke for just me and chat.
God damn it.
Chad, are you enjoying this one-sided
Future Taylor
conversation?
can enjoy this.
All right, so I got. I don't know if this one's really controversial, but I'll throw it out there. Ryoko and Satsuki from Kill la Kill.
I don't remember. The Ryoko is the main one. Satsuki is the scary one. But they're
Yes.
sisters.
You are not scary.
Wait, they're sisters?
They are sisters, yes.
Oh, god damn it! I didn't know that. Guess I did not watch far enough.
Did you not finish the show?
No, I currently, I like was watching for a bit. We were trying to like power through all of it, and then we stopped after.
Uncomfortable incest is not a first in that show, so I guess it's fine.
That's probably true. Well, if they weren't sisters, then yes, I would have definitely shipped them. They'd be a power couple for sure.
No, kiss.
No, Keith. Incest version. I mean, like, weird incest is not off the table in anime, apparently. Just look at season 2 of
No.
Sword
Unacceptable.
Art Online.
You done goofed.
Creepy, incestual nonsense.
Well, sorry for that spoiler. Tiny.
Yeah, Aaron's bad at this.
Yeah, they are sisters. That's all I'm gonna tell you. There are more.
I mean, there's a lot
twists
more interesting things.
coming
Yeah.
up.
Here's the thing. Like, I know that like we put a lot of stock
You're not scared.
in our culture into like having a spoiler-free existence, but like honestly, if a piece of media is hinging only on like that one thing, and it's not a mystery or something to like be solved, then that media is just boring. Like, I can be told a spoiler and still enjoy a piece of art. Sometimes a spoiler can make the art more interesting because I can see that they put thought into making that thing happen. Like, I don't know, like if you guys ever watched a mystery movie and once you know the mystery, like the solving of it, you're like,
You're
okay,
still
and you go back
potentially
and watch it.
damaging somebody's first run through of something.
This is
Oh.
true. That's true. That's a big one. Did not know that. Pardon that.
it depends
but there's
on the
so much more to
spoiler.
Kill
Yeah.
a Kill, right?
Like
Kill la Kill's
it
a fun
depends on the
anime.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Like them being sisters is it's kind of it's like a mid spoiler. Because you don't know you don't
It's
know.
the explanation for why they are such analogs of one another. Because they are like very
Right.
much just like two halves of the same coin.
Now, if I had told you when you find out that they're sisters and what happens for you to find out that they are sisters, that would be a
That would be a
major
big
spoiler.
Okay, all right. Here's another one that might be quick for you guys. Have you guys ever had a cross,
Like
a
series?
cross, yes, cross series, cross franchise ship?
No.
No.
Okay.
I feel like we should
I've
have
heard of
found
those.
like somebody like I feel like we need to start finding like guests for these episodes where I'm like,
We need
this
to
is
find
outside
somebody
of
who's
my
like-
wheelhouse.
Hyper into shipping.
Yep.
Okay, what's your favorite ship then? Easy one.
Okay.
My favorite ship?
Yeah, your favorite one that. All right, your favorite one that didn't happen.
Oh, that didn't happen?
That did not happen. Scott,
Oh.
apparently you're very good at predicting them, but
Well, so okay, so it's not that I'm good at predicting them. I am kind of basic with a lot of the ones that I Like,
You're like, this is the obvious choice.
well, because
Like-
I tend to
like-
like the ones where I feel like the two characters genuinely like connect or make more sense. So like in
Yeah.
School Rumble, spoilers for like a fucking 20-year-old show. Like, it doesn't negate how hysterical the whole journey is, but like Eri and Harima as a thing is intelligently built throughout the whole show, and it shows that they are like people who would genuinely click as like a couple. Whereas there's like from the beginning of the entire series, there's no major foundation for either of their crushes, like our two, like Tenma or Harima, and why they like who they like. And Harima's never grows. Like, he never has more reason for loving Tenma. But Tenma finds more reasons to love whatever his name is,
The weird dude?
Yeah.
Dude is weird as hell.
He is super weird, but like we get to watch them form a relationship throughout the series. Whereas like Tenma and Harima kind of become friends, but we never get to see more reason for him to love her. And so like Eri just like fits, I think, really, really well. I think the little sister like in Harima is like also interesting, but I think him and Eri just kind of click super well.
It is.
Same with like Ippo and Kumi, but like Ippo in Hajime no Ippo, but like that's projected throughout the whole series. I mean, it's like 1,000-something chapters, and Kumi is introduced super early on and then just keeps slowly recurring as this like weird other constant in Ippo's life, one of the few constants he has socially, because he basically all he does is work and box and then work out to box more. She's like one of the few like social things he gets like encounters. So I'm trying to I'm really struggling here to like think of one.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of one that's my favorite that hasn't happened. Are we talking about like it hasn't happened as of now, or the show is done and it never happened?
What about one that got cut short?
What do you mean?
Like even if they unhappy ending due to whatever circumstance, because one always comes to me that I'm like, it's so sad, and it's one of the saddest moments in anime history forever and always. For me, at least, it was a genuine gut punch in college, like when I watched the show. For me, it's Kamina and Yoko from Gurren Lagann. Because that's something that, like, is so much of the show, and then, like, it doesn't happen, and then we have to watch Yoko move on. But, like, like, Kamina is, like, who she's meant to be with, who she wants to be with. You know, they work so well together, where she is just as hot-headed, but a little more, like, logical than him, and then, his perfect kind of backup. And then, he's gone. And we get to watch her.
Gut punch.
Yeah. We do get to see Yoko grown up and, like, kind of having a relationship with the other guy, I believe, which makes sense, because, like, they're friends and they've been together forever, like...
Okay.
Yoko got the kiss of death, bro.
Yep.
This is the most obvious question that I probably should have asked from the start, because anime, obviously, the actual properties themselves do ship characters together. Usually it's kind of like a wrap-up thing, and sometimes it doesn't even feel well developed. Like they were just like, I'll just throw these people together, they happened off screen or whatever.
Hinata and Naruto, yeah.
Yeah. Of those, what is your least favorite?
Sakura.
Like, that seems the most obvious, right? Because that is the stupidest fucking ship. That is like some psychologically damaged, like Sakura needs like a therapist. Bro, I literally just watched the episode where he tried to fucking murk her. Like, what happens? Could she not have reevaluated? Possibly.
I was trying to stay away from that one.
And also Hinata and Naruto, though. Like, it's very clear that we on the show like Hinata, but their relationship is not well developed. In fact, Taylor is left because he can't stand it.
Attack on Taylor is the new title of this episode.
Yeah, Hinata and Naruto's relationship is very underwhelming and undervalued.
Oh no, Aaron muted himself.
I just muted myself. I accidentally hit. I didn't know 0 on the keyboard muted me. That's weird. I just like recently finished the arc with Pain, which spoiler alert, skip like 20 seconds. Hinata almost very nearly dies by Pain's hand, and you get like a whole episode where she's kind of like recounting how she fell in love with Naruto, but even then it's still just a one-way relationship. Naruto has never once thought about her. Like, we've never seen him think about her. He has thought about he's thought about Sasuke a lot. So honestly, sometimes the gay shipping for Sasuke almost makes sense, because considering how often I'm glad he's not hearing this. Considering how often Naruto thinks about fucking Sasuke, it should be those two together.
I think it's an aspect that is weak. I don't think like Naruto Hinata is the worst one. It's just a little on the weaker side. But I think
It's
a lot
very
of
weak.
protagonist ones are. Like, if Sharif was here, I think he would agree with me that Suna and whatever his girlfriend's name is in Hitman Reborn is like a similar thing. Like, the girl that Suna ends up with is like a MacGuffin throughout the whole series. Hitman Reborn, very funny series. Go read it. But like that one is just kind of a throwaway thing. It's just like she's almost a MacGuffin the whole ride, and like there's some like character building moments, but it's not enough. And I think a lot of shonen anime do that, right? Where it's not like terrible, it's not
It's just weak.
bad. It's just it's because it's just kind of the end. And I mean, at least Naruto does give us like the movie to show them like become a thing like a few years later as Naruto's grown up a bit. And kind of realized who's always been in his corner. But most anime don't get that.
Glad he did some reevaluating.
By the way, we changed the name of the episode to Attack on Taylor.
Yeah, no, there is a lot that are just like that, where it's like, it doesn't feel like you put a lot of work into this. And I don't know, I feel like that's a very valid criticism of a work of art. Like, oh shit.
You know what is a better like built relationship than I realized? Like I realized this when I rewatched it like 2 or 3 years ago now. But Keiko and Yusuke in Yu Yu Hakusho is a much better built up and defined like relationship than I realized. Because as a kid, you don't like I didn't pay attention to that stuff. I just wanted to see Yusuke and Hiei and Kuwabara and everything punch people. But from the beginning, like one of the first major, like the first 5 episode arc is all about him needing to get a hold of Keiko, and it's about their relationship saving his life, and her being his, ultimately, like her, Kuwabara, and his mom being his biggest driving factors to come back to life in that order. Because Yusuke doesn't care about anything, and he doesn't think anybody cares about him. And like seeing his mom break down and seeing Keiko miss him, and then seeing Kuwabara storm in, he's like, "The fuck is happening?"
He's like,
I think that's, and you know what? I kind of feel like that's the reason why shipping as a fan community is so big, is not only because it's just a fun thing to do and it kind of lends itself to that, but also because like in a lot of animes there's a lot to be desired in terms of like relationship building. And so I think people take it upon themselves to put the pieces together where they go, okay, well, like we know everything about all these characters, and despite what the show says or the manga says, like I don't feel like these two would work together, so like I'm gonna make up my own ships. And so I feel like that's a big reason why shipping communities are kind of big in the anime world, just from a lack of being able, like a lack of ability on the creator's part to actually do a good job of relationship building.
I have a question.
Sure.
Have either one of you seen Inuyasha?
Yeah.
What about you, Aaron?
I haven't. I'm a bad person.
You're not a bad person? But get on that
Uneducated.
shit.
Yes.
Like, how much of it have you seen?
None.
No.
Oh,
I've seen up through the original series end, so I've never seen Final Act.
Okay.
It's been a long time, and I like pieces are spotty, but I've seen the original run from Adult Swim.
Okay. Out of, I love asking people this goddamn question. Out of the three, which one of these ships makes the most sense? Inuyasha and Kagome, Inuyasha and Kikyo, or the dumpster fire that is Koga and Kagome?
I always, so again, because I'm basic, I like Kagome and Inuyasha, and I always have, because again, I'm basic. Because Kikyo, I don't think is a nice character. I don't like her at all. And Koga is always just there for Kagome to make him jealous. That's his purpose.
Koga's a bitch.
Like his entire
like Aaron, imagine the one character who will never get the hint.
Koga gets to be cool
no
the
matter,
first arc he's there.
He wasn't even cool then. I hated him then. He's basically a character who just shows like, okay, imagine like you and your fiance, and then there's some dude who's just in love with your fiance, and he won't take the hint that your fiance is not into him as much as she keeps telling him
But no. She went and got coffee with him one time because she was like not talking to you that day and wanted to get coffee. And now he can't
she
drop
just
it.
wanted coffee. And he's like, yo, we're destined to be together, right? And you're just like, bro, she's not into you. She's with me. That's Koga. That's Koga. No matter what, that's just him. And I hate him. He won't get the hit.
I'm so glad that didn't happen in Naruto, because there was a while where I thought that like, is Naruto seriously gonna like have a crush on Sakura for like this long? And I finally got to the part where, and I've seen this part already, but it's like still one of my favorite parts.
When she lies to him, and he's like,
where she's like, I'm actually in love with you, and he's like, man, fuck you.
Yep.
Like, don't you dare. Like, get the fuck out of here. And, like, that arc's really weird because Naruto becomes kind of a sad boy, which is reasonable considering everything going on in his life. But, like, that part is well-deserved where he's like, man, get the fuck out of here. You don't love me. Like, shut up.
Like that was the whole thing with, like, me and like Hinata and Naruto. I wanted to ship them together, but simply because that was the only thing I could that would have made Hinata happy. That's literally it. Me growing up watching Naruto, looking at Naruto, seeing how he's so in, like, I'm like, she deserves so much better than this. Like,
right?
Why? like Hinata's been so supportive of this guy who's not even on her team. He is such like this blind. He's so blindly into Sakura that he can't see. One, Sakura is not interested.
Bro, like, she literally said "I love you" to his face, and he like does not acknowledge it.
I'm gonna keep go with wild ships. And I'm gonna be like, Hinata and Gaara.
Like when that happened,
Taylor to catch that. It's fine.
Like, I don't know if I tell y'all this story, but Sharif literally told me that happened. He was like, yo, cuz like Hinata's dead, and I was like, cool. Thanks for telling me that. I am not watching this ever again. I never saw that. Now I saw it in like a little thing that I was reacting to, and she didn't stand a chance. My poor waifu.
Yeah, I know, she got wrecked. By the way, I was wrong. She doesn't die.
Destroyed.
I could have swore she died, but she actually lived through that. Like, she didn't get resurrected afterwards like everybody else.
No,
she actually survived, which I completely forgot about. I really thought that she had died and just got resurrected.
Because Hinata becomes like a legit badass. She's just super shy. Like, she is the full-on, like, strong enough to be, like, the next head of the clan. It's just, she gave it to Neji.
Yeah,
she's scared of everything.
Either way. Like, I thought, I was told that she died. And I was like, there's no point in me watching the show anymore. Like, my ship is now dead. Like, there's no point in me watching this anymore. The only reason I was sticking with it is gone.
Well, I guess this is a good way to handle the last part of the show then, Taylor.
Okay.
Who should Hinata be with? Who really should she be with? Like, let's say she didn't have her infatuation, like her heavy infatuation. Let's say that she gave that up and was like, you know what, I've matured. Like, I had a crush on him, but he hasn't acknowledged me, so I'll move on. Who does she really belong with?
I'm done. I'm gonna stick with Gara. I feel like I'm so in chaos.
The one that keeps coming back to me, if Naruto, like, if she gave up on Naruto specifically, would probably be Kiba.
The answer we were looking for is Rock Lee. That's our show, everybody. Congratulations, Hinata and Bushy Brows. Yay!
And with that, guys,
balloons fall from the sky, confetti everywhere. Taylor sits there with a stunned face as the crowd goes wild.
This has been the Super Otaku Show. If you didn't know, you can find us wherever podcasts are served and on Roman Bear streams every week on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find Taylor over on YouTube at Taylor Made Otaku, where he does a whole bunch of cool reacts videos and other stuff. It's very dope. Go check him out. And your podcast is back now, too, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what?
He's broken.
We broke Taylor. Taylor's podcast is also back. Make sure you go check it out as well. You can find me and Aaron on YouTube at Roman Bear Pro or Roman Bear Streams. And this week I will be back and streaming here Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. So it'll be fun, guys. But until next time, we'll be back later. Keep watching anime. And if you have replacement ideas for Aaron, because I don't think he's going to survive this week after doing that to Taylor, let me know in the comments. Till next time,
Back
guys.
on Taylor, next episode, Sundays.
So long.
Buckley.